Hey everybody, welcome back to One Mic. And today I'm here to talk about season 2 of HBO's The Gilded Age, a season that for me cements this show. Well, I can't say cements because I haven't seen season 3 yet, but at least at the moment, it cements this show as top tier popcorn television. And that might sound like a good thing, but I don't mean it as a compliment. I don't mean it as an insult either, but let's talk about what I do mean. When I say popcorn TV, I'm talking about the same thing people mean when they say like a popcorn film. It's the kind of entertainment where you don't have to think too hard. You just enjoy the ride. You know, sometimes if you do think too hard, you might start seeing the cracks, but it's so entertaining on such a high level. You don't care. You don't think about it. You just enjoy. In The Gilded Age, this is popcorn TV served in one of those like fancy AMC inspired buckets like they're doing for every big movie release. You know, you've got the extravagance, the upper class drama, the fancy outfits and the lavish sets. It has that Succession vibe, but this ain't Succession. It's not. I don't even think it's necessarily even aiming for prestige TV level heights. Like, it's a fairly simple show telling fairly simple stories. It's really like reality TV and couture. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't mean it as an insult, but going into season 3, I think it's worth asking, should this show, well, I don't even think it's worth asking. I think it should, but I'll pose the question. Should this show lean into the messy, scandalous, fun nature? Or should it try to like level up and become more prestige and chase something a little bit greater? I don't have a preference either way, actually, but I think it needs to make a decision and lean into one or the other. Because I feel like floating in this space where it's kind of like masquerading as prestige TV, I think it limits its ceilings. But aside from that, let's start talking about season 2 and the headline story this season, a petty but entertaining catfight over an opera box. So Bertha Russell versus the Academy of Music. High society shade throwing at its finest. But at the end of the day, it's still just very fancy, like, my party's better than yours, so I'm going to get more people to come to my party. And the problem with it, too, is that it played out exactly as expected. You know, the Mets opening night was an easy Russell win. The Duke arrival, Miss Turner pouting over there, the Academy looking like a morgue. It was all a bit too just on the nose. And honestly, I think this show and I feel like this season would have been better served with this. And I think the show will be better served if they go this direction in season 3. But I think it might be worth thinking about letting the Russells take an L at some point next season. Like, their predictable wins make moments like the finale not really land. Like, I knew she was going to win. I knew the opera shit was going to work out for her. Like, it took some of the air out of the weight of the finale when you go into it knowing everything's going to work out for the protagonist. But speaking of Miss Turner, though, like I mentioned a moment ago, I liked how she was reintroduced into this season and the manner in which she was reintroduced. But ultimately, they didn't do too much with it. Like, she was more of a minor irritation than a major threat. You know, she a little pouting, a little scheming, but like nothing that really left the mark on Bertha at all. As for George Russell's union worker subplot, it was fine. Nothing special, nothing to write home about. It lacked the punch to me of his season 1 story arcs. And again, this is a place where giving him a loss, it might have actually made things more interesting. Now, speaking of interesting, Oscar getting scammed, I thought was a great twist. It was genuinely surprising, and it had ripple effects beyond just, Oscar losing money. It impacted Agnes, it impacted Ada, it impacted Marion and her potential wedding, it even impacted the staff. You know, for a brief moment, I was like, oh, wow, they're really going to shake up the status quo here. But no, the Agnes/Ada near destitution arc was wrapped up almost instantly thanks to Luke Forte's death that was as sudden as his appearance and even more sudden fortune. And becoming head of the household, though, for Ada, I think that's a nice touch. I look forward to. I hope they lean into that in season 3. I look forward to it. I will watch. Luke himself, the character, was interesting while he lasted, I guess. He created this dynamic. And this is less of a compliment to the character and more of a compliment to what the character brought into the show. I mean, he created this dynamic where Ada might end up leaving Agnes and Agnes would have to face, living alone. And I was intrigued by them going in this direction. And there was an episode that it should have ended with this great shot that they did where they kind of like the camera panned across their dining room table and it shows no one there. And then it reaches the end of the table and you see Agnes at the end eating by herself. It was a great shot. I was like, this is a perfect ending to the episode. And then there was like 2 more scenes. But like so many storylines this season, it didn't go anywhere. Hey everybody, I just want to take a small break from this review to talk about the various other ways you can engage with me on other platforms. If you're so inclined, and I understand why you wouldn't, I am an acquired taste, but you can join the Patreon where you can get extra content like retro reviews, where I review old shows and movies to see if they still hold up today, Mike's Musings, where I talk about shows I'm watching that I don't cover on the channel, or Mike's VOD, where you can commission me to watch a show, which I will then review on the channel. And if you want to engage with me and chat with me more directly, I also implore you to join the Discord and follow the Facebook page. I set up channels in the Discord for all of us to discuss the shows I'm reviewing on the channel, and I also drop new videos in there since it's the easiest platform for me to share to from my phone. The Facebook can be really fun because I sort of live comment on shows I'm watching, often while under the influence, I'm not going to lie. And I'll also share news there, both about television and film and about myself as well. So if you like my content, you want to be more engaged, you think I'm charming, or you simply want to show support, feel free to sign up for the Patreon or join the Discord or Facebook today. Links to all platforms are in every video description. Remember to share all my shit to your respective social media platforms. And now back to this review. Once again, though, as I said in my video for season 1, the staff subplots were some of the best stuff of the season. Jack or John, depending on who's talking, chasing a patent for his, I almost said Peyton like Bannister, patent for his alarm clock part was a small but surprisingly engaging storyline. I like that it's setting up a possible season 3 connection with Larry Russell as well. I'm interested in seeing that. And then Mr. Watts's arc was even better than that one. Like what started as him looking like a creepy old man spying on a young woman, it turned into a layered backstory. Upper class roots, a daughter who has ascended to wealth while he has descended and he ends up serving her at a dinner. He's got the scheming son-in-law. Like it was never really predictable and it was well executed and emotionally satisfying. So good stuff, good work with that. Miss Armstrong, downgrade. Season 1, at least her nastiness was rooted in racism. It gave her a little bit of an edge. Now she's just mean for the sake of it. Like it felt lazy to me. Every beat was predictable. You knew what she was gonna say in every moment. You just were waiting for her to say something shitty. You'd be like, shut the fuck up, Miss Armstrong. Peggy's activism to save black schools was probably the season's most boring subplot. They had a real opportunity to do something special when she went down south to visit Booker T. Washington, but they instead chose to kind of like half-ass that part and quickly pivot to the messy homewrecker subplot with Mr. Fortune instead. Even then, they didn't take that angle anywhere truly compelling, and her eventual choice to walk away from her job felt too abrupt and undermotivated, especially given the timing with Agnes losing all her money. Also, I'm not thrilled with how they rehabilitated her father's character either. Like season 1, he was a piece of shit, and now all of a sudden they're like trying to give him a face turn into being a good guy. I wasn't buying it. I didn't like it. He was like the season 1 villain and shit. Now he's supposed to be a good man. Moving on to Marion. Once again, she gets a season-long romance that looks good all season, just so they can pull the rug out from under everybody at the end. Season 1, it was Mr. Rakes. This time it's Dashiell. Charming, compatible, until he blurts out his late wife's name in like the season finale. They're like, and the thing is, the actual breakup makes sense thematically. Like Marion has ambitions and wants to make her own mark. She likes teaching. She doesn't want to be a stay-at-home mom. And yeah, Dashiell was just looking for someone to kind of like fill a role in his household as a wife for him because he's lonely and as a mother to her daughter. It's good character work. Not mad at it. But the like, surprise, he's not good for you after all, Marion. Rug pull, like that's starting to feel kind of played out. They did it at the end of season 1. They do it again here. It's kind of corny. That said, I do like where things seem to be headed for Marion going into season 3 with Larry Russell. That's interesting to me. They seem like a good pair, and they've kind of like already set the foundation for that in season 2. So anything they do in season 3 with that is gonna feel earned. Whereas Dashiell just showed up out of nowhere in this season. So yeah, I mean, like the Gilded Age season 2, it was beautiful to look at as always, enjoyable to watch, and sometimes even surprising. But too often it felt like, I don't even want to say the show was holding back. It feels like the show's not aspiring to do more. It's aspiring to just be what it is. I mean, I guess that's fine, right? It doesn't have to be what I expect it to be. I don't know. I feel like it could be more, and it's settling for something that's a little bit less. Wins were too easy. Losses were too rare. Potentially great subplots got tied up neatly before they could, really truly land, or were substituted for something messier because that's, supposedly more interesting, but it wasn't to me. But it's still, like I said, it's top tier popcorn TV in a very fancy bucket. It's very enjoyable to watch. I have no complaints while I'm watching it in regard to how much I'm enjoying watching every episode. It's a very, very fun and relaxing watch. But if season 3 wants to be more than just like high class comfort viewing, it needs to either go bigger with the drama and lean into being messy, or dig deeper with the storytelling and the characters and aspire to be something a little bit more prestige. I was commissioned to watch this season. I watched it because I wanted to, and I still firmly sit in a place where this show doesn't hit for me like it does for others, but I'm still interested in watching season 3. And great things have been spoken about season 3, which have further piqued my interest in watching it. So I will be watching it. Actually, I believe its finale airs tonight, the night that I'm recording this. So look out for a season 3 video for me at some point. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get through it. I've got all 8 episodes to watch once the 8th one drops tonight. But, I'll watch it. Look for a season 3 video for me. I hope it takes a step up in some way. So until then, check out the rest of my content. Leave your thoughts in the comments, subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys pretty soon for a season 3 review video. Till then, peace.